The Historic District Review Board will come to order March 15th, 4 p.m. Everybody stand for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
I do not.
You do not? Oh, may we have a roll call?
David Hamfield?
Heather Glasser here.
Mayor present.
Tom present,
Stu present.
and Tracy the secretary. How about the agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
Unfinished business, we have none. Correct, Tracy?
Correct.
Okay, new business. The first one is the fence installation. None. Renovations, 333 Madison Avenue. Please come forward. State your name and which
I'm
one.
Edmund J. Sabo II. I live at 333 Madison Avenue here in Cape Charles. This is a proposal to put in a shed, 12 by 12, matching the current existing structures.
The zoning, the staff analyst is in zone compliance, which you know. The property is legal, conforms to all accessory dwelling units, and is available for use, for conditional use permit. Any property, I have a motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So have it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. The second one is 520 Randolph Avenue. Certificate of appropriateness to renovate existing accessory structure.
It's me again.
How are you again?
Yes, I am renovating the accessory structure in the rear of the main house. I have received a conditional use permit to occupy the structure. What we're doing is putting in new windows, a new roof, and egress windows on the side. The roof will be the same as the main house, which are a slate gray architectural shingle. The siding will be painted to match the house. And the windows are vinyl 1/1. The building is, as far as the sills on there, right now the structure is T111, so we can't really put anything heavy. So they do not have the 1 3/4 inch sill that you like. They're just standard replacement windows.
What are the existing, they're large windows that are currently.
There's one
constructed,
large
right?
picture window in the front that doesn't open. And what we're gonna do is replace that with 2 side by side that do open.
So it should still be the same space.
Exact same space. The windows on, the other 2 windows on each end are required to be a specific size for fire code for egress from sleeping areas. They're all the same size, it just so happens that met the code.
Okay.
So what happens to the double door at the end? You've got the sort of barn door.
Oh,
there.
that actually is to the storage area in the front.
The,
Yeah, they were there before,
the,
and we will maintain a small little area of storage in the front.
Do the doors remain?
The double doors, yeah, we're gonna put them back.
Is Mr. Rosen doing the work?
No, I am my own contractor.
You are, okay. And isn't it possible to rip a 204 and make a sill?
I would imagine so. I can tell you that right now, all we're doing is keeping the T111 siding on there until we finish the main house. And when we do the main house, we're gonna put hardy board. And at that point, we will hardy board the accessory building. But since that's gonna be more than a year from now, I did not put that in the request. I will have to come back for a new request for that.
Is that 5 times in 12 months?
I hope we collect a fee for every time you come back.
I'm gonna hire myself out as a consultant.
Okay.
No, but so eventually it'll have hardy board on it,
Okay, so at that time, maybe you could put a sill.
yes. Right now, I don't know it would be useful to have it.
You're just doing replacement windows, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to replace the siding, then no.
Pardon?
If you're going to replace the siding, then there's no point doing it now. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, it's just that, like I said, the permit's only good for a year, is what I understand, and that at the time we go to put the new siding on, we'll require a new application.
Zoning have anything to say?
No,
No?
I'm good.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
No, good. Motion to
Somebody make a
approve.
motion to accept it, please.
The motion to accept.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Wait,
Okay, oh,
you need a vote of that motion.
oh, vote,
Or can we have a vote, please?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
okay.
You can proceed, Ms.
Thank
Catherine.
you.
Okay, 535 and 530A and 530B, Randolph Avenue, certificate of appropriateness to install
I think we have to call.
porch flooring.
So 1 minute while we get them on the phone.
Hi, you've reached Michelle. Please leave a message.
Hi, this is
At the
Herb.
tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Good afternoon, this is Herb Tom from the Historic District Review Board, calling you about your application to replace the wooden flooring. Would you please give us a call back? Thank you.
You'll hang up on that. Thank you, Herb. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and walk us through it until hopefully we can reach them by phone. So they are seeking to replace the existing front porch wood flooring with the Trex composite decking due to rotting, warping, and pest damage. As I noted, for zoning review, they're not looking to increase the square footage at all of their structure, and so they are in requirements of the zoning ordinance. I did provide you the review elements that we would be looking at for this, which is under the Historic District Guidelines for porches on page 45, specifically item 5. in which they're indicating that the porch elements or the porch itself, if the materials are too deteriorated to repair or are completely missing. These would be the standards we would look at them through. So with their application, they have provided us the Trex decking material information. Do you have any specific questions at this point in time on this application without the applicant present? We'll do the best we can.
David?
Yeah, I have one question, which is, the Trex comes in a lot of different colours. Do we know what the colour is, and can we at least request that it remains, the colour of it remains in keeping with the rest of the structure and its colour scheme?
Is that in our purview?
I don't see the color.
It is not in your purview. We do not, this board does not have guidelines over the color schemes of materials that we use in the historic district.
Okay.
I have a question. The direction of the wood. Currently it goes this way,
Perpendicular.
I don't think she specified.
and it should be the other way.
Perpendicular.
If you would like to recommend a particular direction that you think the wood should be laid, then I would include that in your
I
motion.
think that is in our guidelines.
Yeah, I think it's perpendicular to the structure,
Okay.
which means
That's up.
the end cut faces the street and the other end faces the structure.
Okay.
If you could include that, that's
If
about
you
all I
include it in
think.
your motion, even better.
We make it.
Why-
Okay, I have a motion to make it
That-
perpendicular.
I think
Okay.
the end cut is facing the street right now, is it not?
It is now,
Yeah,
but we want to make sure that she keeps it that way.
listen, okay.
Can I have a motion?
The motion to ensure that the replacement is perpendicular to the street
I second.
And to approve it otherwise, right?
and to
All
approve
in
it.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving right along. We're at 533, we did that one. 427 Mason Avenue, certificate of appropriateness to install an awning on a commercial building. Is there anybody here?
She's not.
So Ms. Smith is not present, but I will do my best to see if we can proceed this forward. If we need to table it for the next month, if I cannot answer all your questions, then we will consider it then. So, with that said, she's seeking to install a 14 by 4 fabric awning on the front of the commercial building with the business logo written on it. She did do a little hand drawing in the office that I did accept as evidence of what she's trying to accomplish. She also provided us samples of what is her adjacent neighbors are doing, and she's looking to do something along the same lines of that. Right. So from that end, as she indicated, she's looking for a fabric like the Table and Tonic business next door, as well as the lettering, also similar in signage as in the coffee house. So those are the two examples that she provided us. She did not provide me a particular type of material besides fabric, so nothing on whether it's going to have any elements of color versus shaping or sizes associated with it.
She wants to put the sign on the awning.
On the awning,
Right.
that's correct, similar to the coffee house type of
Right,
awning.
correct.
I have a question about that, and on the size, that's considered a sign. I think the coffee house, it's bigger than what we normally allow for signs.
It can happen on the awning to that size for the type of, the name of her business, there's the word.
Okay, it doesn't have to be a certain,
No. It can handle it, and I did talk to her about what would be the name of her business and how that would look on the sign. She said she's looking for the coffee house kind of element, maybe not the same graphic in terms of
Leather.
the lettering, the italic, the scrolled font that is on that particular sign. But she's looking something similar to that. She's not looking to purchase a separate sign to hang on the building at all. So,
Okay, any more discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, the awning, I don't have much issue with. I think it would be nice to know the material, the size, the scope, of just a little bit more detail on that.
I mean, what if she does the whole thing with her, you know, the entire,
she can't. She still has to adhere to the sign ordinance because it is the sign, but it's now being, the sign material is the fabric of the awning. We'll actually have it painted on there. So again, the size of the awning is 14 by 4. I've gotta go back to the sign ordinance, I can't remember, because we did look at this with her, as to how her lettering would sit on that and how large it could be. She did indicate fabric, she just didn't tell me anything beyond that, if it's gonna be striping versus plain color. Again, we really don't get into what the color may be.
Sure. So you've discussed most of this.
I did, when she came in, we talked her through it,
Okay.
what would this look like, et cetera. So I know that was the big concerns I had, especially, I couldn't quite tell this from her drawing, and I hadn't gone out there on the premise as to, I gotta get myself to the sign, sorry. One of them looked like a more metal-y kind of sign that she gave as an example. I thought that was Table and Tonic.
Well, the two examples are fairly different. If you look at that, just with
It
the-
wasn't Table, it was actually the building
Yeah,
that
it
she's
was.
in, that orange thing. That orange, is that an awning? Yes, that's an awning. I couldn't tell if that was a metal awning as it stands there today, but she told me clearly that's not what she wants. She wants to go to a fabric awning.
I think it is
Do we
metal.
have any control over design of the fabric, like stripe versus plaid versus whatever? No,
We
we're just
haven't.
only gonna approve the fact that she can have an awning.
And that she's telling us it would be a fabric material, yes.
Well, I guess that's all we really have purview.
Any more discussion?
No,
That's fine by me.
Michael, have a motion, please?
I move that we approve her to allow to put up an awning, and that the signage
We'll stay
will have to
within
meet the criteria.
within the criteria of our ordinance, yes.
All in
Second.
favor?
Second.
Second. David? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Moving right along. 601 and 603 Peach Street, Mr. Yang. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, so I guess I was here about a year ago virtually for this particular property. I did get a certificate of appropriateness for replacement of the windows, doors, roof, and some other elements of the house. So we went ahead and started the work. And along with the work, we did the rear outside shower and fence, not knowing that it was something in addition we needed to do. But we did follow all the requirements on the building code. The fence is, I think, 3.5 foot tall on the picket side, which is along the side of the street and rear. And then the sides, splitting the units, I guess, along the street are 6 foot piece of fence.
Right.
And then as far as the shower, I just measured it today, so it's overall about 8 foot wide, 6 foot long, so it's chopped in half for the duplex, so each side is 4 by 6 essentially, and everything's made out of wood and wood color, and some of the pieces around the shower is corrugated steel to give it a little bit more of a different look. So
The fence on the side, since you're in the corner, I have to be very careful because I would give you a personal opinion and I can't do that.
Understood.
However, if I could do that, I would tell you the fence is ugly. It's not the right height. If you wanted to, and Katie, will you correct me at any time, please?
Of your personal opinion, sure. Of our ordinance requirements, absolutely, yes.
Anyway, if you could make the side fence 6 foot tall, you couldn't see the shower.
My understanding was that side along Washington needed to be 3.5 foot tall. And that's why it was done. I would have done that as well, but based on what I could understand from the,
Well, maybe Katie can straighten this out.
Sure.
Because I think it can be 6 foot tall
No, I'm gonna open my zoning ordinance to double check this.
on the side of his house, right?
So I can tell you, Bo, and I did have this conversation earlier with our chairman, the use of the metal structures to help support your creation of the shower stall is not a normal material. And maybe it wouldn't be so obvious to us if you couldn't visually see it at all.
Okay.
And I think that's really one of the more striking elements of how
Okay.
you've done the backyard. And maybe that would have been caught if we had gotten you through the permit process before it got constructed. So that's just my overall comment.
Sure.
So, and that is what I commented to the chairman this
Okay.
morning about that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm getting over to the fence
But
section.
there's nothing that says you can't have a 3-foot fence on the side, it just
Right.
complicates things.
It complicates it, that's correct. So I'm
It-
getting.
Especially because Mr. Young didn't get a permit. This is after the fact.
Okay, but based on the fact that he does have a 3-foot fence on the side,
There's
from
no,
there,
there's no issue with the 3-foot fence.
right, so then the only issue is the materials of the shower.
Right.
Correct.
So again, a side yard, there's a corner side yard, which is defined from the front of the house, front corner, all the way to the back property line. And that is defined all as the corner side yard that's equal to 4 feet, okay? It's a little different, because I know most of us are thinking rear yard, I can go to the corner of the rear of the house to the back of the lot. That could all be 6 feet, which then would say, oh, then the shower stall would be wholly enclosed. But because it's a corner lot, that corner piece has to be a maximum of 4 feet. You can even build it to 4 feet. I think you went 3 feet on the side.
3.5,
Right.
yeah, just to not get
So
past four.
then, the shower stall will be visible with a maximum height of 4 feet.
Yes.
So,
And I'm going to just point it out because it is the irregularity. Our guidelines and our ordinance really don't talk about outdoor shower and shower
Right.
stalls.
right,
And so this really now comes down to how do we typically handle any sort of exterior material. I do find the use of the corrugated metal roofing, I think it's roofing metal, a roofing panel used in this capacity is not traditional in the Cape Charles Historic District and needs some discussion from this board.
I've walked around the various properties and I've seen that on some of the other showers that's in other, in the historic district.
Yours is, how do I put it, particularly evident.
It hasn't aged. It'll age and it'll get less shiny, is what I was told when
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
corrugated roofing metal. That's going to take 15 years, realistically. It's by your own words earlier. I mean, it's done to you did it to catch the eye, to make it different, and that naturally, per the comment, makes it out of keeping with the historic zone. Personally, I have no issue with the fence at all, but the corrugated iron, I mean, there's no way you can miss it. I mean, everybody who drives past that corner, it's just there. I understand why you did it. It's actually a pretty practical material. It happens in a lot of other towns, but you are in the middle of a historic community, and it does stand out like a sore thumb. I don't know what our purview is to be able to recommend or not what can be done with that.
Well, that's one of those things that's in limbo, outside Sellers, is in limbo because we don't have anything in our guidelines to help us with.
I mean, from my take, there's nothing prohibiting this, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Would the roof of the shower being corrugated, would that be okay if it was wood on the sides?
Probably, yes. It's just the corrugated metal being used as a panel on the side. It is extremely striking as you go down that street because it's a corner lot, it can be seen.
Yeah. That was my
Could we suggest that you paint it?
So that was actually something that I did explore, and at the time it was explained to me that it would age. So that's why I left it and see how it would age. It's only been less than 6 months at this point, so I'm open to it, but it's something that I think I'd like to wait a little on to see how it
For
ages.
me, if you used acrylic roofing paint, it specifically sticks to this material.
Yeah.
It'll age well. It's not something that's going to cost you constant maintenance, etc. So it's not designed to be a burden on you. But you could make it in keeping with the rest of the building immediately. The struts around it are already wooden. The corrugated iron roof is not out of keeping with other things. It's
I
just,
think it
it's
would
just
make it
facade.
less conspicuous and probably satisfy everybody if you would do that.
Yeah, I'm open to doing that, so,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know what color, I mean, obviously.
I was just gonna say, how do you decide color?
I would blend it with the wood.
Well,
Does
the
that
house,
mean,
well, the house,
right, white, brown?
The color of the house, the color of the wood.
The color of the house is white.
Then it would blend with the house.
Okay, I'm saying, once we get down that path,
Yeah, I know. It's a Pandora's box because we don't have that in our purview to
That's
pick
why,
colors.
and I think this discussion is more of a recommendation or suggestion than
Right.
anything else.
so it's really the shininess of it that is the big issue. So by painting it, that would solve that problem.
Right.
And do we care what color he paints it?
We can't tell you what color.
Okay.
But if you would paint it,
Don't paint it purple.
yeah, I mean, a non-obtrusive color would be absolutely great.
Okay. Would that apply for both sides or just the side that's facing?
Just
I would
side that can
just
be
paint it
seen.
on the outside that's visible.
Okay.
And if I come to your house to take a shower, it wouldn't really matter.
Well, and we don't control indoor paint colors anyway, so.
It is a nice shower though.
Thank you, yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's a good design, it's very sensitive.
Do we need a motion or what?
You do need a motion because this is still an after-the-fact permit approval that we are seeking here today.
I'll make a motion.
There's, the issue about the different fence heights in the rear, not being not typical of the historic district.
The rear height is the same as the side height, but in the rear is allowed 6 feet, correct?
But
No, it doesn't have to be.
What I was commenting on is the fact, the duplex fencing in the middle of the yard.
Right.
Again, it's in the backyard, so we can have 6 feet. He's done a graduated fencing to separate out the yards between the two duplex units,
Yeah.
creating a border in between.
Correct.
I just noted, we have never had an application like that come forward for us, that's all. It's
But
new
it's
for us.
okay.
But it's acceptable by our
Yes,
guidelines.
it can be allowed, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so then really all we need to do is,
Is do an approval, if that's where we're headed, of an after-the-fact permit. And it sounds like he is favorable to listening to your recommendation of painting the metal corrugated siding.
okay, Kathy?
I make a motion that we approve after the fact with the recommendation that the exterior of the shower, the metal part, be painted.
You agree?
Yep. I agree.
All in
Second the
favor?
motion?
Second.
Second the motion? Yeah.
David, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So enjoy your shower stall.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
With the other,
424 Randolph.
oh,
This was the
Okay.
last.
Other business.
So under my report, I just wanted to make you aware, there are 3 applications I did approve since our last meeting with an administrative approval. One with a roof replacement, one with a materials replacement, swapping out. Materials replacement, exactly the same in same pattern and style of the Cape Charles Baptist Bell Tower, and then a deck replacement and small extension of said rear deck. Then, more importantly, the next item that I included in my report is a discussion and report, the whole kit and caboodle regarding 424 Randolph Avenue. More than a month ago, what is it today? More than a month ago,
Yeah.
sorry. In January, we received a report into our office. It came through the town manager's office about 424 Randolph and its condition. And we were authorized and instructed to look at this and pursue all necessary enforcement action between the building office and the planning and zoning department. So with that said, the code official, Jeb Brady, and myself, we issued a joint notice of violation on January 27th to the owners, John Tapscott and Paula Russo. And we charged them with a demolition by neglect. And part of it is going to be controlled by the building officials and his responsibilities under the building code, and part of it is controlled by the HDRB and the enforcement of the historic district overlay. We issued this on your behalf as well, I just wanted to make you aware of that. And with that said, we put some pretty tight timeframes in this notice of violation, specifically under the building code violations piece first, because there's quite a lot of teeth and enforcement action that he has authority for, and really deals with life safety issues. And so he really does come first in this process. That generally do not require your approval, but we wanted to keep you informed at the same time, because this is the property and project that will come back before you. And at this point, I'm pretty confident we'll come back before you, because we are getting very cooperative stance from the property owners looking to rectify this situation. And we have invited them here today, Paula, to talk about this. So I'm gonna let her go for a bit. You have everything from our packet, including the notice of violation and the most recent email correspondence I've been having with Paula, helping to structure their work responsibilities from both the code official's perspective and my perspective.
I'd like to thank Mr. Brady for his attendance to the meeting.
If you haven't met Jeb.
Oh, hi, Joe. How are you? Thanks for all your help, Katie. Nice to meet you. So I've been conversing with Katie since we've gotten our letter and keeping her posted of all of our progress, because we had specific things we were supposed to accomplish, and they involved getting an engineering report to get the current structure of the house and how to shore it up. So, and also they wanted us to provide building plans. And the third, I have it right here, shoot, I missed, here it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, survey of the lot and site plan of the, and with all the porches, decks, stairs, structures, landscape, trees, and for a certificate of appropriateness. And then a materials list. So we have provided all of the materials list, all of our sketches. That's all in your information. Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
You applied for the same thing in 2018, correct?
We certainly did. And when we got the approval for that, it's so funny, because we did try to get a permit at one point, and we were told that we couldn't proceed because that expired after 1 year. And we've never done this before. I had no idea that expired. So I was emailed the certificate at that time. I said, I've never seen this. I looked on the website in the notes. I never knew this expired in a year. So in the meantime, we were approved for windows and siding, and we weren't worried about preserving anything because we knew we had been approved for this stuff. So, and when we got this, it was like, wow, I thought we were just approved. I didn't know there was a time span on it.
That was 2019.
18. It was 2018.
Okay, so you received that.
No, I just received this.
You just received?
I can find the email for you. Until we went to get some permits, maybe in 2020, I will find this email. It came from, it's just not there anymore. I'll find it.
What's the date on that?
This certificate is dated 2/20/2018.
Okay.
It's 2018.
But I did not receive it until recently when I went to, I'll find it. I'll tell you the day I received it.
Honestly, the fact that you didn't receive it shouldn't change the outcome.
Well, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, not knowing what we were doing, we were never told it would only had a year and it expired. We weren't told that at the meeting, and then I never received that. And
Ultimately, it happens. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm not
it's-
trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to.
But this was 4 years.
Oh, we understand. We understand that.
Not knowing you had to do it in a year is one thing, but it's 4 years now.
Right, and I'm not making an excuse for that.
But what are we talking about today?
So-
Right.
So
Trying
the,
to circle
the
back.
intent of today, and I'm sorry I had to step away for just a moment to take a phone call, I
That's
apologize
okay.
for that.
Could you explain?
I will. So the intent that we need from you today, Paula, is to hear what progress have you made in securing an engineering report that the building official needs, because there's a 90-day clock from the day you guys
I know
received your,
this,
your correspondence from the town,
Yeah.
which was January 27th. So,
May 9th, you said.
right, so that clock is running really quickly. And if we cannot resolve the code violations under the building official's status, then there are actions that the town will be taking to ensure that the building is made safe and secure.
Right.
And we really don't wish to go down that path. We will go down that path. That's where we have to go. And as part of that, we would then impose violations and fees affixed to your property to collect whatever obligations the town commits to get that work commenced and performed.
Right.
So really, we need to hear from you today. Have you secured an engineer? When will we get a report? When will the building official get a written report that he can review and then be able to issue a building permit application to you? And then with that,
Yeah.
get to
Well, that's
an
how I
actual
started
issue
out. I
building
was going to
permit.
answer all of those, so I'm ready to do
I
that.
do want to get us back on track.
Yes.
I recognize you were before us several years ago, got certain approvals. Those have all lapsed and expired. at this point in
Understand that
time.
now,
So
yes, thank
we
you.
are now here to try and get us back on track to get this building where it needs to be.
And I'll be happy to provide a timeline
You do
in the
understand
email.
it's 90 days.
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
understand that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have a
She told me
letter,
the date, yes.
and Katie and I have been emailing. I have kept you apprised of everything
Yes.
that's
I
going
know
on.
you were having your engineer come this weekend.
He was there
and
Sunday. Let's
and-
go ahead and start with that.
Please do.
I have the document that he was there yesterday, and he is going to prepare a report on how to shore it up.
And again, since Jed's here too, I wouldn't mind, Jed, you want to come on forward to be a part of this discussion? And just to let us know, who's the engineer?
Oh, his name is Michael Schooley.
And when will he have that report to?
He said it in about 10 days, he'll have that for us.
Okay.
He did, I spoke to him this morning, and he's, because he wrote on here, site visit to review structural condition of house, engineer's letter with findings and recommendations. I can't read that word. I don't feel that this house can be restored economically. But what he's going to do is still give us that information. And also, I asked him, I said, their main concern is the stability of the building and any safety issues. And he said he did not, and he'll put this in the letter too, he does not feel like there's any danger of it collapsing at this time. And he'll put that in the letter. So I thought that was good news, at least, for safety and that kind of thing. So anyway, he said that we'll have that in 10 days.
So part of what you indicated he wrote on that is he does not feel it's economically feasible to restore this structure?
This house, I don't feel that this house can be restored economically.
Okay. I do want to comment on that, and I'm not sure if you want to comment on that as well, Jed, but from a historic district perspective, it is essential that we retain as much of the historic character and nature of the structure as possible. We recognize that you may have financial constraints in your ability to do that. That is not necessarily one of our primary and overriding concerns when we're looking at a historic district structure. And partly we do look to the owner. We know that you are aware of the condition of the structure. You did approach the town and receive the appropriate permissions and approvals to undertake that renovation work. You just chose not to follow through on that. So we do think this condition has been self-imposed and self-created by you as the property owner. That kind of undercuts any consideration we may take in towards of your financial circumstances. I'm not saying it's wholly overridden it, and we won't ever consider that. I just need to note that this is a property that we think has been left to intentionally erode to the point of demolition. That is in wholly contradiction to the zoning district as a whole and what it's intended for. And you did have the opportunity 4 years ago to follow through and do the work. So all we've had now is 4 years of continual neglect and degradation of the property. That is very disturbing to the town as a whole. So
I understand that, and I could sit here and give you reasons why, but I don't want to make it sound like they're excuses. I accept all of that, and we want to fix it. We do. There have been extenuating circumstances, especially since the COVID started. We did try to, Jeb, you know, John did try to apply for a permit, and he was told he had to come back here. Well, that was what, I've got the dates down. Anyway, like I said, I'm not trying to make an excuse. We want to fix it. All I'm telling you is what the engineer said.
Okay,
Okay?
from what I understand, the only date that I received was that the engineer would write a letter to Katie and Jeb in 10 days. They would receive a letter. When are you going to proceed on the structure?
That's what he's going to prepare, an engineering report to detail current conditions of structure and how to safely secure the structure. That was,
So I told them there would be no permits allowed to secure the structure at all until an engineer had given us a proper letter and drawings or whatever needed, that I wasn't just gonna let them go in there and do shoring up, because they could potentially make it worse.
Exactly.
That we wanted a plan, and there needed to be a plan to be followed.
Okay, so after the 10 days, how many days would they have to secure the permit and start?
They have the 90 days to.
When's it up?
May 9th.
May not.
They have to show sufficient, you know, if they're providing the engineer's letter and they're moving forward with getting a permit within that 90 days, that's moving forward to me. So that's what we want, that's what we want. We want the property to be shored up.
Correct.
We don't want it to get any worse than what it is. And then we can address all the other issues, windows, roof, foundation.
I got you. Okay, but following that preventive maintenance code, can't they close the structure up and to prevent any more damage from rain and snow?
They can.
Well, don't we need the permit for any of that, right, Jim?
I mean, you can board the windows up.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Another 30 days is not really gonna make a difference.
No,
I would
that's
just assume-
what
I would just assume wait, get the engineer's report and we'll go from there.
Once that engineering report comes through, from the town standpoint, is there a time limit to enact what is recommended in that engineering report? Because you've got a 90-day period for you to get a permit to shore it up and make it safe, and then come up with another plan to actually renovate it thereafter, etc. So is there a time limit put on when the work will have to be done after that engineering report is put down, if it's sufficient for you?
Yeah, so Katie and I have not laid out anything past 90 days yet, but once we get this engineering report and determine how bad the structure is, then we will lay out some type of timeline with the owners on when the stuff gets done, yes.
Okay.
I just want to mention too, I've spoken to an architect. It's the architect that did 420, the house next door, the twin house. He referred me to his previous firm because he's trying to retire a little bit and he's busy. So anyway, I talked to his previous firm, of which he was a partner, and the architect's name is Michael Creasy. I don't know if I emailed that to you, Katie, yet.
No, you didn't tell me exactly, you just told me the firm.
Okay. I thought I put his name in there, sorry about that. And he is willing to do our building plans after he sees the engineering report. He doesn't want to proceed without some, any information he would need, whether it's to waste time.
Right.
So,
The only thing that, excuse me, that I'm after is a timeline so that the building doesn't deteriorate any more than it is. That's what I'm after.
well, we are prepared to respond immediately if we get our letter and we get a permit to go in there and get it shored up. And once we have that, we want to get to our architect to do the building plans. The site plan is in process with Craig Crockett. He's been out there. There are flags out there. You can see he's been there. And so we're bringing it together, but we're ready to move immediately. I have funds to start right away, even without a construction loan.
If I can answer potentially now that question, because this is first I'm hearing, so in 10 days, so by March 24th, we will have an engineer's report into our office.
He told me 7 to 10 days, Katie, I'll keep you
I'm
posted.
giving you the full 10 days, didn't count Sundays, starting
Okay,
so. that
okay.
puts us to
And
March-
sorry, you said 329?
Yep, nope, 3/24.
3/24.
March 24th, but we will have the engineer's report in hand. And I am making a commitment from Jeb and I that we will have a follow-up report coming out from our office by March 28th. That puts us to Monday. So we will then tell you what our understanding of the
Okay.
report is and what we can issue a building permit on immediately, and how long it will take for that work to
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I
then-
can't give you a definitive timeline beyond
No,
that till we actually
no.
see the engineer's report.
Exactly, but you hit it right on
Yes.
right on the other nail. That as of March 28th, after you've received and
Yes, we will
in
outline,
conjunction with
apply for your
the
building permit
department,
within 2
you
days
will have-
and start this work.
She
Yes.
will have information to go ahead and close the building up.
Yes. Right, and I think there were 2 points in the whole documentation I did enclose that really was relevant for this board to weigh in on at this point, is if a new roof is required under the scope of work, and I don't know if it is yet, but if it should be, I did want to talk about materials.
Well, it has a metal roof on it now, correct?
We proposed a metal roof too,
Okay.
a very expensive one.
So I just wanted to put that out because that would be one of the issues that would fall under the purview is the type of material. for
Oh,
the
okay,
roofing.
sure.
And so I didn't want that to be any holdup or delay in the process.
Right, but that's really up to Jeb's decision whether,
No, and it would fall under Jeb if part of the engineering report dictates that the roof needs to be replaced immediately.
But
Otherwise, that would fall under our normal certificate of appropriateness
Right, right.
when it would come forward and we would discuss it then.
okay.
So if it should be part of the engineer's report requiring a new roof right now, I wanted us to make sure we understood, we had a meeting of the minds on materials for the roofing.
wait a minute though, if this house has to be totally taken, we have to replace all the beams, everything. You're saying you want us to put a new roof on the building as it is? Is
I'm
that
not
what you're
saying
saying? Okay.
I just wanted
I
to,
just want to understand, yeah.
depending on what's in the engineer's report, without
Uh-huh.
having that document available to us at this point in
Okay.
time, a lot of this is still conjecture. So I'm
Okay.
trying to position this board to get whatever approvals in hand that they would need to
I
advance
see,
without hurting any enforcement action occurring by the building official.
gotcha.
So I may be overstating some things, maybe this won't be required at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Without the engineer's report in hand, it's making this very, very challenging for us to make informed
I'm sorry I
decisions.
don't have it for you. It was difficult to find people, so.
So
And-
I just wanted to make sure we've had the discussion that you're currently a metal roof, and this board would have no objection to it remaining a metal roof.
Okay.
Like for like is actually very acceptable for us.
Yes, in our guidelines, it's
Okay.
like for like.
Okay,
And that is a contributing structure, as both Jeb and Katie know.
okay,
And it's under our purview that it should be like for like, so
yeah.
just so you understand.
No, I'm happy to hear that.
Which you said was in your original plan to make it a metal roof again anyway.
Yes,
Okay,
uh-huh,
good.
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, realistically, if the engineering report's due on the 24th, you guys have then got 4 days to respond to that. And put action back in the homeowner's hands. That means by the time that this board meets again next month, there should have been some
Progress.
form of actionable progress, correct?
Yes, on all of the elements associated with the code officials violations. Yes, yes.
So we can table this again for next month to verify that that's actually the case, or
And
have
actually,
you
this will be a
discussed what-
continuing report until we get them back on formally with a full certificate of appropriateness application for all the other elements that fall wholly under your purview.
As
I'll be
currently
seeing a lot of
presented,
you guys.
This is not an application at all right now.
No,
This
right
is
now, this is, we are
discussion.
reporting on an
Okay.
ongoing enforcement violation that we are doing on your behalf.
Okay.
So,
Other business.
again, this is a unique one. I don't think this has happened to this board before, that we're doing this as a joint violation. It's just there's building stuff that's gonna come first, and we didn't want anybody to be alarmed, seeing work happening, and you're going, we didn't approve a single thing, so we wanted to get you informed.
Yeah, I really appreciate both of you keeping us in the loop because it stops phone calls to both your offices and it saves us. It really does. It's great to have the cooperation. I appreciate both.
So, and before you walk away, Paula, the other item that I just wanted to touch base, because I presume maybe in this report, there's gonna have to be some work done on the siding or the exterior walls. Not wholly, but to patch certain places. So again, I just want to talk about what the board feels on that issue in terms of saving any of the existing siding versus a total replacement of the siding.
Okay, I went out there Sunday, and in my opinion, it's pine siding, which is relatively inexpensive and you can get from the local lumber yards if they can get it. And I may be incorrect, but I think I'm right. Did you look at it? No. I think it's pine. And I think you can get it readily, it's readily available, and I figured about 70% of it is good, and you may have 30% to redo, which is very inexpensive.
Well, we were actually, we had proposed hardy plank, and if that wasn't going to be anything that would be accepted, we were thinking of cedar siding, the same
Wood.
profile, size, all that.
Right.
Not pine, because cedar's so much better as far as, resisting insects and lasting than pine.
The siding is generally in good shape, except for some spots that are missing
There's a
boards.
lot inside. I'm going to forward you a PowerPoint I made.
Well, we'll see what the engineer says.
Yes, yes. But anyway, we really want to use the highest quality materials and make it look true to the character of the town and the original house. We have no problem with that. Like I said, I'm not here to make excuses. We really do want to do it. And you guys are absolutely right. It's a disgrace. So I get it. And I'm not here to, I'm here to work with y'all and get it done.
Sure.
So
Thank you very much.
you're so welcome.
Yes, you will get another update, another status report from us at the April meeting. I do not believe she should be in a position to actually have a certificate of application, certificate of appropriateness application at your April meeting. It probably will most likely be at your May meeting.
Correct.
For what is the rest of the work of this house,
Right.
because there's a
The
substantial amount of
windows, the
work.
porch,
Yes,
the design.
right, the design stuff.
Right.
Yes. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank
We-
you very much.
We do appreciate the fact that you really want to do it.
My gosh, yes, we sure do. And I apologize. So anyway, see you next month.
thank you, Paul.
Randolph and Plum are fine.
And that is it of my report.
Does anybody have anything else to say before we conclude?
Oh, I do have one more. We should be finalized on setting up your training sessions.
The camp?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I think by tomorrow, I'm hoping to get all those dates released to you with the actual calendar and scheduled classes, et cetera. So sorry this has taken so long. We've had a little bit of confusion getting it done with the staff, but I think we're almost there.
That's quite all right. Would you refresh my memory, which is fading fast, that, did we decide on a permanent time of our meeting?
Well, the time changed.
The times changed, so
I
that
mean,
they
the
were,
days changed rather from the initial. First it was gonna be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, now it's like Thursday, Friday.
No, he's talking regular
the
monthly meeting
time.
calendar.
the monthly time.
He's
Oh,
he's
for
he's
these
finished with
meetings,
the
I
camp
think we're
discussion.
talking about the training.
No, but we passed that. Now we're talking about the time for the
We
meeting.
came to an average, that's how we came up with 4.
Right, is that
3
still
was too
good?
early, 6 was too late.
But it,
And now that you bring that up, I think we tied that to the time change. Is that correct?
yes, that's why I brought it up.
And now the
So-
time changed on us last Sunday.
But the time. We didn't change the meeting. Okay, so we need to discuss
yes.
the time.
We need to discuss what is our starting time of your regular monthly meeting.
I would like to see it at 4 o'clock because, as I've said before, the staff shouldn't have to work any later than they have to. If everybody can do this, which some of us travel and some of us just stay here. So, how do you feel, David?
4 is for me, it remains painful because it's part of the workday, candidly. It's, I understand on the town part it would be nice to have that. I mean, I'd like to see some form of compromise. I realise that 6 o'clock is late. 4 p.m. it's prime working day for me. So.
4:30?
I'm in favour of later. I liked the plan that we could do it sort of earlier in the winter to accommodate those travelling and make sure it was daylight, and slightly later during the summer. I thought that
Okay,
made
so-
some sense.
If we proposed 5 o'clock?
And
That,
why
that,
not say 6?
5's already better than 4 for me, candidly. It's, I'll take anything I can get.
I understand.
I look at all the other meetings though, and we're the only group that doesn't meet at 6 or 6:30. And so I think that can sometimes be confusing to the public. No.
Anybody in the public have a comment?
Actually, most of the applicants, I have to say, have called me and said that they do, because I did get a question from Marty about it, and most of the applicants like the earlier time.
They like it.
They like the earlier time. I don't know why, I guess because they don't have to.
I just believe that there's 2 reasons I like
Whatever
it.
you all want.
First, it's light and it's easier for travel. Second, it's easier on the staff, and the staff works really hard, and I'd like to give them a break from this board. I know they have a lot of other boards to satisfy, but if we could compromise and say, let's say 5.
That would be more than acceptable to me.
How about it, Michael?
Yeah, I was just, and that would be my preference, but in fairness, at the last meeting, I think we were leaning towards 6 o'clock during daylight savings times, but I don't know that we finalized anything.
We didn't.
So the earlier the better for me. It's very much.
So I would like to suggest 5 o'clock for our meetings, and maybe we can readjust in the fall to 4, but maybe not, depends.
It's fine.
I would prefer to keep it at one
Motion to
time
that effect?
rather than adjust depending on the time frame.
Okay,
Yeah.
could somebody make a motion at 5 o'clock?
I make a motion that we have our meetings at 5 o'clock,
Second.
year round.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. 5 o'clock would be the time for our meeting.
Okay.
Satisfies everybody. Can I have a motion to adjourn now?
Kathy wants some.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.